For my book, I decided to read Cold Mountain, and for my final project, I cooked a meal from the book. Obviously, I didn't cook it the same way that they did because I used an air fryer for one of the ingredients, and they didn't have air fryers in the mid 1860s. Another difference from the book that my meal had is that they had a garden and their own chickens, whereas I had store-bought food. So my meal probably didn't taste as fresh as theirs did, but I still had the same basic ingredients. But it was really interesting to see the similarities and differences between meals in the 1860s and meals now, because this isn't too far off. Like, I have stuff like this for dinner pretty regularly. Now here's the cooking segment. I will be cooking from Cold Mountain, a novel by Charles Frazier. They cut the chickens up and fried them. Cooked pole beans, boiled potatoes, and stewed squash. Anne made a triple recipe of biscuits. A triple batch of biscuits. Bacon fat for the pole beans and squash. Pole beans. Squash. Potatoes. Chicken. Boiling the potatoes. Pole beans and stewed squash cooked in bacon fat. Stir in the pole beans and stewed squash. Cut up chicken, fried. Pole beans and stewed squash cooked in bacon fat. A triple recipe of biscuits. And boiled potatoes. It's really interesting to cook a meal from a book because, one, you don't have the exact recipe, you only have the ingredients and how they were prepared, and two, it takes a lot longer than you would think it does. It took about 20 seconds for me to read the paragraph, but it took me like an hour to actually cook the food, which I was not expecting. That's not even counting the entire process, because first you have to read the book and figure out which meal you want to prepare, unless there's only one meal, but in my case there were multiple. So I figured out which meal I wanted to make, and then I had to come up with an ingredient list, and then go to the store and buy all of those ingredients, and then I had to come home and set up all those ingredients, and then I had to actually cook all of the food before I could eat it. So in total that took a pretty long time. I also did some research and found out that this meal is pretty historically accurate because a lot of people on farms at this time had chickens and green beans and squash, and potatoes were like a staple in both the North and the South. Also, another thing that is accurate is that, if I'm remembering correctly, they cooked this meal around the summertime, so a lot of these ingredients, including the summer squash, would have been in season at the time. I will now be reviewing the meal that I made, starting with the biscuit. That's really good. Next, I will be eating the potatoes. Not bad. A little bland considering I didn't season them at all, but pretty good. Next, the pole beans and stewed squash. In the book, it didn't say that they were cooked together or eaten together, but I actually like how they taste together. And finally, the chicken. I mean, it's fried chicken, so it's pretty good.